Welcome back to Making Sense. I hope you are all well and looking forward to just another exciting session. So for those who've been with us and keep tuning into our Friday sessions, welcome back. And for those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. What Making Sense Conversations is about is just coming back down to talk about things that are going on with us financially in our businesses so that we continue building this community of financially empowered people. This platform is about thought-provoking conversations on wealth, things that make a difference in your life and shift the way that you're actually thinking. So Making Sense is started because of the book I wrote called Making Sense, which is about money. It's a personal finance book based on real stories of people. And week by week, we've just been drawing certain principles from the book and taking them to the next level. And today is one of those next level discussions that we're actually going to have. So please welcome everybody. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. I know we get people from all over, so it's really, really good to have you today. And please remember to ask questions. Today's conversation is about thinking digitally and what this online transition means for us. So please feel free to ask questions. Martin, I'll just ask you to put on your video so I can introduce you. And even as Martin is coming on, I just want to share with you a quote that he once wrote to me. It was Martin, this was actually in an email that you wrote to me, and you had a quote saying, "The illiterate of the 21st century are those who are not going to be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn and learn and relearn." I think this is one of the quotes that you do like. I can't remember who it was from, but I think, Martin, we're in one of those spaces at the moment that we got so much relearning to do. And Martin, he'll introduce himself and tell us more, but he's the CEO of Being Interactive, which is known as a digital media agency. But I think, Martin, one day you told me that you're not a media agency, you're an audience agency. So I remember that, yeah. And I think we're in that space where everybody is thinking online. How do we do this online? What do we do with our businesses? What does marketing mean? What does customer mean? And not just for our businesses. It's also from people who are looking for new opportunities, whether they are in new jobs or new businesses. And I think today, even as we refer to businesses, guys, I just want you to understand, even if you're in a job or looking for a job, it's time we all start thinking as entrepreneurs. So even if you now go back into an organization, you're going to be the entrepreneur. So please absorb everything Martin is telling us, because you may be the one who becomes the secret sauce for whatever opportunities you actually are looking for. Yeah. So just before I let Martin speak, I had an accident with my car yesterday, and it was a stupid accident. I reversed into a pole, and a bit of the boot of my car is just completely has to be replaced. Now, this accident is so annoying in this time. You know why? Because first of all, I've hardly been using that car, and now I have to spend money fixing it. Yeah. So I think we're in that space now of questioning what were the things we were doing? Do we need them anymore? Because I'm really questioning this car at this point in time. Yeah, it's cheaper to keep using Ubers than to fix this car. Yeah. But we are now in this time. And Martin, for us at Centonomy, we had been discussing online. And then the day the president in Kenya made the announcement that schools are closed, it affected us instantly. And in one day, we had to move our classes online. And what I realized, Martin, moving the classes online, fine, the Zoom is our friend, the technology is there. But the whole transitioning online is a whole different kettle of fish, because you have to completely rethink the customer experience. So it's not just about having the platform, which was something we were thinking before at some point. For us, we had this whole 5-month plan, because a lot of the things we were stuck on was the platform. What technology do we use? But when we had one day to do it, we found the technology there and realized the technology was never the problem. Yeah. So even now, and we just had to do it while we are learning on the go because we didn't have a choice. But it's just, there's so much more to creating an online or transitioning online. I think I speak to a lot of people in our entrepreneurship class, and they're like, okay, I'm online, I have a Facebook page. But I think, Martin, anyway, this is why you're here. So I'm so excited today because I'm going to take the role of a student, and just let Martin speak to us, ask questions. So guys, today, please ask questions. Wherever you are about your business, please ask. We've got people tuning in, obviously, from Kenya, from Germany, We've got people watching from Zimbabwe, So let's just get the ball rolling. Martin, what are we in for in this new world of ours?
Yes. So thank you so much, Waceke, for the intro. And it's very interesting what you said about the role of technology. So, technology is always the last thing you should think of, whether you're considering internal disruption, i.e. entrepreneurship, where you're within an organization, or actually you're doing it for your own business. So I actually, I created a couple of slides. I hope they can be seen on the screen.
Yes, they can.
And I think what I wanted to do was use these slides as thought starters, because the biggest thing I've seen is the challenger to disruption, i.e. to evolution of your business model, is actually you. It's literally not the technology. And unfortunately, it took COVID to thrust us and force us to change, whereas previously, we had the comfort of things are working, I don't need to do anything. So actually, this whole COVID thing has worked to our advantage as business owners. And what I want to inspire in this conversation is the mindset you should have, and then a bias to action, which is what you did when immediately you realized class has been dismissed physically, and you moved to Zoom. So, I can go through what I had prepared, and then hopefully it will inspire a few thoughts for the viewers, and then we could take the questions after that, right?
Yes.
All right, so who am I? Waceke has done an amazing introduction. Actually, being interactive is, we've even moved, because we're also transforming. We're actually a digital transformation partner as opposed to an agency anymore. So we're doing more about business strategy and product innovation. Communication is literally the last thing we do after the fact. So why I personally believe in being part of the African marketplace revolution, which is really exciting. The digital revolution is giving a really good fertile environment for the evolution of the African marketplace, and technology is just an enabler. So as mentioned, I am the founder and CEO of Being Interactive. I also live this purpose through various vehicles, Solve It Limited, Nellions, a moving company. I sit on the board of ISA, and I was in the Stanford program with Waceke, and I went to Alibaba Business School. So the real thing that I want to tell people today is about, you just need to be unreasonable. There's something really powerful my mother-in-law taught me, that there's two types of people, those that get it done and those that give reasons. So the objective today is don't let yourself be the person that's saying because COVID, my business has closed or whatever. So be unreasonable with yourself, because only unreasonable actions deliver unreasonable results. So it's very likely right now, we're living in a world that feels like this. And I would want to say that, COVID just came the other day, but this was happening even before COVID. I don't know if you guys remember that we were actually more or less in a recession, even prior to March, right? So we were all facing the business challenges, and there was always the need to disrupt ourselves. But, it really surprises me why businesses, or rather I'd say business owners, don't challenge themselves. They're fighting to keep the status quo as is, yet the whole environment around you is changing. It's kind of insane, isn't it? Right? So it feels like this.
Because Martin, we are comfortable. What we know is what we keep doing. And I think even as business people, we get into the rut of, at some point we will do it, but this point never actually happens.
And that was there's a book that I'd encourage everyone to read. It's called The Digital Transformation Playbook. And one thing they actually say there is that the problem with most businesses is they get more excited about their solutions as opposed to the problems. And you see, if you get excited about the problem, you're not loyal to the solution you had. You're loyal to the problem you're fixing. And that will allow you to constantly evolve, right? So for example, in your example around your car, you know, if someone realizes that what my role in Waceke's life is not giving her a car, is providing her movement, then they could change that. They could literally launch a chauffeur service where they pick you to do wherever you go. Do you get what I mean? But because people are so focused on the car, then they want to sell you another car. Yet that's not where you are, right? So I'm going to touch on a few of those aspects as we go along, and hopefully it inspires a few things, because it's only when you change the value chain that technology comes to enhance that. Technology will not answer a bad problem. You know, as we say in marketing, more awareness doesn't fix a conversion problem. If people are not buying your product, selling it a different way or selling it in a different place doesn't change the fact that it's a bad product, right? So it's really important for when people are thinking transforming their businesses, they have that mindset. And so the environment feels like this, but it's actually more like this. Should you choose to see it that way, that you know, we're actually transforming and evolving. And you know, if you actually look at it, and I really want guys to get this, that it has been happening before, that, you know, don't get high on your product. If you look at the largest companies that have digitally transformed industries or disrupted industries, look at Netflix. They own no cinemas, yet they're the largest movie house. Look at Uber. They own no taxis, yet they're the largest taxi company. Look at Airbnb. They're the largest accommodation provider, yet they didn't build hotels like Hilton, because of this fundamental truth that your customers, like you've just explained very well, as a customer, i.e. a vehicle owner, your customers, many customers feel they're not getting the value they want, but many companies feel they're giving the best value. So this is a research that in the same companies, among the same companies, look at the difference. So 80% of companies say we're so amazing, only 8% of customers of those same companies think they're amazing. So if you're thinking about how will you digitally transform, consider that it's not your product, it's your point of view that needs to change. It's not the solution sold a different way, it's the problem. the problem, a new problem that has been rephrased that needs to be answered for. And that's why, if I was to give a local example, the reason Uber is so big in Kenya was because we hated the experience of getting a taxi, going
and the cost.
And the cost. So if you actually think, you go outside Nation Center, there's a guy in a very big coat because he has slept in the car. You enter the car, it smells kind of funny. You know, then you haggle for 5 minutes on price. Then he tries to start on the car. It's an act of ultimate faith. The car eventually starts. He tells you, okay, give me this amount. I have to stop by the petrol station for fuel. So you see, if you launched a digital solution to sell the same taxi experience, nothing would have changed. But the fact that Uber's core difference was the fact that there's standardization of pricing. They have, you know, kind of rules and regulations to ensure their drivers maintain cleanliness. They have a certain kind of car, etc. Then you get the experience that you didn't even know you deserved. The app is just an enabler.
The app is just the delivery. I think, Martin, that is so fundamental, because a lot of people, especially now in this phase, they're like, what business shall I start? What business do I start? What business do I start? And because we're living in now where this digital world is such a reality, we keep getting questions like, what online business should I start? So that's so what you're saying, it's completely wrong way of thinking about it.
Totally.
So we are
not. What problem should I solve?
What problem should I solve? And that's where, like, that has been a traditional principle. So we are not moving away from that just because we're in a digital world. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, like when I keep talking to guys about digital marketing and they say, oh my God, is it this new? No, the marketing, the principles of communication still change. I mean, don't change. The channel changes, but the principles of communication don't change in terms of awareness, driving engagement, and then result in conversion. That doesn't change. It's just the channel that has changed, right? And so the same in digital transformation, the pillars of business don't change. Still about value creation. It's just technology is the enabler. And I feel so many people in their digital transformation initiatives try to copy and look at what software is available, what is available in the West that I can now bring in here, when literally you're more high on the product than the problem you're actually solving. But I'll actually touch on that just now in terms of what could you do, right? So the biggest thing that is the disruptor, it's not who sells what you sell, i.e. it's not your competition. It's not even the pandemic that will disrupt you. It is who you're not. It's the person who's focusing on the problem, not the solution, that is your biggest disruptor. And it's also your desire to keep things as they are. That is what's disrupting you. That is what's creating the big problem in your business. And, we have many case studies, even our business, we've really evolved. And I must say, I'm happier now because of COVID than I was before COVID, right? And this is the mindset that entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs need to adopt. They just stop thinking technology. Technology is readily available. Technology is the least of your worries. It's so readily available, right? So why this is so important, because things don't end wrong, they start wrong. So if your mindset in terms of your digital transformation, and I'll give an example of the insurance industry where I have many clients, is many organizations have used digital initiatives to increase sales of insurance, but ultimately the penetration of insurance hasn't changed over the years. Yet they have tried all these things in terms of digitizing insurance. Why? Because they're not solving a problem. They're just digitizing how I get new customers, but they're not making the solution more relevant in the lives of customers. So if something doesn't start right, it will end wrong, right? And it's kind of, this statement by Wayne Gretzky, that's a professional ice skater, said, I skate to where the puck is going, not where it has been. That's such a powerful statement in terms of the mindset you need to have. And I really want to now go into, okay, what you've inspired me now, what actions can I take? Now, I love changing mindsets, so I want to use algebra. We all went to school, we understand algebra. So in algebra, there's the constants, there's the variables, and there's the results, right? So the numbers is your constant, the x and y is your variable, and then obviously the result is the number. Now, consider that before COVID, your variables were your customers, your constants were your product, right?
Yes.
Right? However, now because of COVID, consider the point of view that your variables are now your variables, I've lost my train of thought. Your constant, is you, your team, and your relationships. That is what's constant. It's your relationships and your culture. Your variables is now your product. But the end result should be the same. Now, how do you get to figure out what that result could be? There's this idea of the timeless activity. So ask yourself, what is your customer's timeless activity? So let's take an assumption of someone who is providing stationery to clients, right? So you used to give books, stationery to your clients. And now because of COVID, meetings are not happening, guys are not in the office, your business has been hit, right? Now, what is the timeless activity your customer needs to do that you are part of? Ultimately, I'd consider it's communication.
Yes.
Right? So now, communication is still going on, but how they're doing it has changed. Now, the best way to find out how they're doing it is by empathizing with them, talking to them, engaging your customers. Okay, I used to provide you stationery. I see your orders have gone down. How are you fulfilling the need that I was a means to an end to? Or we've started sending emails. Or we're now doing Zoom conferences. Okay, can I be a provider to your Zoom setup? Or can I offer you email signature material or something of the sort? Do you get what I mean? So the timeless activity stays the same, but the value you bring, your product, can be variable. But the relationship what is constant. I don't know whether
just on that, Martin. Yeah, I was on me. Just on that, I have a friend who was doing events management, and who obviously, because of COVID, so what before her constant was the way she did it, the events, the way they were doing the events. That was the constant, the product.
Correct.
Now, because of COVID, there were no events the way people were having events, but where are people meeting in this kind of environments? In Zoom. So it's not going to be a hotel, but they're meeting in Zoom. So she did get one of her clients to give her business in creating the experience. She had to now discover a different skill about herself. So she's no longer doing logistics like the way she was doing them. Now she was like, okay, I'm going to have a team of 20 people meeting on Zoom. What experience do I create? And especially in the beginning when people were not too clear about Zoom, her value add was even breaking the ice for people about Zoom. You know, that thing of speaker, video, because you'd have meetings where I can't see you, I can't see you, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. So her 1 hour is gone because of that. So that's what she initially jumped and started doing.
So, and you see her value chain changes. So her suppliers become internet providers or data providers, and maybe guest speakers and things like that. So she's no longer dealing with tables, chairs, but guess what? The timeless activity is still the same. It's an event.
This is
it's event management.
I think this is so challenging to many businesses that have been disrupted. People who own restaurants, people who own hotels, and a lot of people have been, let me wait. Until let me wait. So it's a challenge to us businesses that let's stop being addicted to the way what our product was.
Correct.
What is the result needed and what is the new result needed?
So because business in Africa is relational, so your customers still have a relationship with you. And remember, you're a means to an end. So humble yourself to your result. Don't put yourself in front of your result. And that's why the biggest barrier of transformation is you. It's your desire to keep things as they are. Because guess what? The other person who realizes that actually event management has nothing to do with chairs and tents. It's about giving an experience irrespective of the environment. Then do you see how it's so easy to transform? So I'm really inspired by the story. And think of bars and restaurants. So people are not coming to bars and restaurants, but are people still eating? Yes. Are they still drinking alcohol? Yes, in their houses. So convert your place to a depot, to a wines and spirits, and then use technology where people can now order via WhatsApp or whatever it is. Do you get what I mean? So it's that. It's really about your point of view and your mindset that needs to change. Then technology just becomes a means to an end. And then you'll realize you're already ready. The best technology to answer your problem already exists.
It already exists.
Exactly, right? So the one thing, that's why, in fact, I'm amazed you're saying that, because the one mindset that I wanted to push after to the viewers on the call is have a bias towards action. So we've talked about empathy. We've talked about looking at the timeless activity and how you can be more relevant in achieving that timeless activity for your customers or for your internal business. But just do. The problem with many people is having the idea, but waiting to being so scared of failure, or thinking you're not ready with, I don't know technology, or I don't know Zoom. And I really love the story you've said that your friend just went and figured it out, right? And it's only in doing that you learn and that you give yourself the possibility to create the future that wasn't going to happen for you anyway. So I really wanted to do that and kind of close with landing that technology is the last thing you should think about. Technology just comes to complement your disruptive process, because remember, innovation is not a new product, it's a new process. Just think of calling cards. Do you remember the calling card industry?
Yes.
I was my wife. Now we did long distance for 3 years. And I used to spend like at least 15 pounds on calling cards a week. Then all of a sudden, WhatsApp has come. So do you realize it's not about WhatsApp? It's about the fact that the process of someone who's long distance talking to someone else has changed. It's not that WhatsApp came. It's the fact that achieving the same result, the process changed. So you need to think about the timeless activity and think about what process can best deliver on the same result of that timeless activity. That's really the best thing you could do for yourself and your business. And there's no better time to be unreasonable with yourself and your business than now. And Waceke,
this is right.
I will record it that ultimately the illiterate of the 21st century is not about reading and writing. It's about not being able to learn and learn and relearn. And those who are on that process are the ones that are going to win. And I'll complement that with a saying by Charles Darwin that it's not the strongest of species that survive or the ones with the best products or the most money. It's the most intelligent. It's the ones that are able to adapt to change. So give yourself a mindset that allows change, because guess what? Once you go digital, a new law, like you've seen the new digital tax that has come into play, a new law might come and disrupt you all again. Now, if you are focused on the technology, you're done. But if you're looking at, okay, what's the problem? And we actually came up with a solution on this whole digital tax thing, and it's really helping with some of our clients in terms of starting to bring their operations locally. So just be loyal to the problem you're solving, not to the way you solved it. And I'll end with, if you feel that you're not ready, you're not enough, it's irrelevant. The world doesn't care whether you do it afraid. The world only cares that you do it. Whether you're in doubt, fear, you're shaking, you're trembling, just start and don't stop, and start with what you've got. And that's what I had prepared as a thought starter.
Wow. Martin, thank you so much. Guys, I'll just remind you, some questions are starting to come in. I know everyone we've had some comments about people are just so engaged listening to you, Martin. So I know questions are starting to come in. So please ask your questions. And I'll just, Martin, you're preaching to the choir. I think over the theme of, once we started these conversations, we've been talking about David and Goliath a lot, just using that as a theme. And that fact that David didn't beat Goliath by going to eat a lot of food to try and be strong. Even the armor that even the king was trying to give him the armor to wear, and he couldn't move in the armor. So he's like, please, He just went and collected his slingshot and his pebbles and hit David. So we're in a season of Davids. Don't go and copy what Goliath has done. And I think it's the simplest of tools that you might be so surprised that are the ones that are going to take you leaps and bounds. As you've told us, Uber is the biggest taxi company without owning any cars. And I think that's what the digital opportunity is all about. So for us, we keep saying we're SMEs, I'm a startup, I'm self-employed. Some people even define themselves as jobless. No, not in this world anymore. To start looking at it very, very differently. So we have a question. Someone is asking, is the Uber business manageable with this pandemic? And I think what they're saying is that they're thinking of investing here on the way towards the Matatu business. Let's go back to what you're saying, how to think about that.
Exactly. And if I could answer that, the thing about the Uber business, to the person that's asked, remember, even Uber is not high on their product. Uber as an on-demand platform has very many verticals. They still have Uber Eats. In fact, they're running a campaign for Uber Eats right now that has actually increased in. So you're still using Uber. So Uber is not just the taxi business. So of course the taxi business has taken a hit, but Uber itself is also transforming and adapting. And so the one thing I wanted to say there is, remember, be loyal to the problem you're solving, because if you zoom out, Uber is not a taxi company. Uber is a company that allows you to get the thing you want where you want it.
It's a logistics company.
It's a logistics company. So what they move about is based on what needs to be moved right now. And what needs to be moved right now is food and other consumables, shopping, etc. Glovo are doing a big campaign. Glovo have been all over the place, right? So the taxi company may be affected because movement was inhibited, but generally Uber hasn't really suffered as much as we would think in terms of the growth of the other.
I think you're just really busting the myth that people are always like, I want to what do you want to start, or what are you going to do? I'm going to develop an app. Yeah, that is the worst thing to start by saying. You can say, this is the problem I'm solving, this is my process, and we think the mechanism is through an app. That then makes sense when you've thought about it like that. Yeah.
Amazing.
And I think this thing, I think a lot of people are getting aha moments. There's a comment from Patrick: be loyal to the problem you're solving, not how you have solved it. And you said something in the presentation about innovation is not the technology. I think this is, and I hope, guys, you're like me and I'm just flawed. Innovation is not, oh, they have innovated, they have an app. They have innovated, they have a platform. They have innovated. That is not the innovation, it's the process. And today I was talking to our CEO, Waceke, to just asking him on the ground, what has been this process for him? And he said where the rethinking had to be was around customer touch points. Because let's say like Centonomy, we had to move from, I'm coming, like here, what we would be doing is Martin would have been in the Centonomy training center. We would have what we would have used digital for only is to put out the ads on social media so that people can attend the seminar. Then Martin, you and I you'd have been in front with a projector, sharing your slides and whatever. What also that gave people, that was a different experience because you connected with people. So even just the fact when they came, because he's telling me he had to think through, what do people feel when they used to come and get a cup of tea and be greeted like that? What did they used to feel? So now the thinking is the human element. Just because we are digital does not mean we have lost the need for human connection. Correct. I don't know if you've ever traveled, like when I travel and I go to those airports and there's no human being. They're just machines, and maybe I'm still old school. I'm like, who do I give my passport to? I want to give it to a human being. So actually, there's a question coming in around that human connection. How do you create emotional connections required through technology? Because I think that's where even at Centonomy, we've realized just because we're digital doesn't mean people are not human beings.
Exactly. Yeah. And sorry, there's a plane passing, so there's some background, background noise.
Yeah.
But you know, the one thing on top of the people needing that connection, there's a strong. So in terms of the African marketplace, the biggest problem in the whole African marketplace is trust. When it comes to technology of people paying online, etc., there's always that resistance. And so actually, why the African marketplace is so relevant to technology, or rather the mix of technology with people, because having the person it's not just about the relationship, it's also about answering the trust issue. Now in the West, it's been answered by things like the Long Distance Selling Act and things, you know, there's a lot of regulation that protects interactions at a distance, which is about online interaction. And so you see right there, what you've just said already is so powerful, you have no idea, because in the African marketplace, what you'd find is a beautiful blend between the right technology and the right person, then delivering the right experience. So there's really no answer. No one has the answer as to what the new value chain looks like. And that's why the only person who has the answer is the person who has the right point of view of the problem they're solving in your industry. I'll give an example of Solvit, the company that I'm part of as well. And we looked at the same thing, and it's around vehicle valuation. And many of the people went before us and created an app where when you're doing the valuation or inspection of your vehicle, you as a customer can take the pictures for yourself. And when we actually went down to the customer, we realized no customer is going to do that. They can't do the work for you for no benefit. So then we realized that there's a powerful role of a third party there. And then now we use the right platform, but one of our core services is the people and the training about how to interact with people when they've had accidents, like yours, Waceke. So there's what I wanted to say there is that there's a beautiful space about, you can't fully automate in the African marketplace, because then you kill the element of the relationship, but bigger than that, you kill the element of trust. So the opportunity for people to buy goes away because they've lost the ability. a trusted, that's why we still call Safaricom call center, despite
Yes.
all the avenues they've given us to do it ourselves. We still would rather talk to someone to know
a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers that question.
And I guess let me add our experience at Centonomy. The classes before, what we just have is the one trainer in the physical classes, because you're feeding off also emotional energy on the go. Yeah. So what we've realized with this online, I can be the trainer, but we need to have another person that we almost call them a tag teamer, to just bring in conversation element, even for the trainer, because the trainer online feels that they're speaking to themselves. Yeah. Well, because you don't have the facial, instant emotional feedback you get when you're actually, so it's become a whole different process. Yeah.
Yeah. And that could even evolve. If I could tell you about your space, if you allow me to give you a great idea on live call, that the problem in education has been schooling, not education.
Yes.
If you look at the value chain of education, majority of the fee that people who want to get educated or informed pay for is the school, not the education. So what COVID has helped us do is remove the barrier, which is the school, the location, from the education. And so what that allows is a new space where you've decentralized the value of education and now made it readily accessible, both technology-wise and even cost-wise. So, so you can see it's a whole different value chain. It's a different process to achieving the same result. And that is the most powerful, I think, evolution of schooling. And those who adapted, like Riara, and even my school where I take my kids, they sent and said, okay, school fees now is 15,000. I have never been happier to pay school fees. And now they can do it at scale because they do the course once, and it's not a class of 30, it can be a class of 1,000.
So all these industries that are being disrupted, education, people looking for opportunities, that's where to start. That is where. Especially where the industries that have instantly been disrupted, that's actually where to actually start.
Yep.
And even in businesses, the way we work, what we're realizing is culture. Yeah. I think, Martin, for many businesses, ours included, it was how do we deal, this whole millennials want flexi time was this odd thing people were talking about. And we treated that discussion for many organizations was they didn't know how to handle the flexi time issue. It was called the flexi time issue, yeah? But now even working cultures, you see the same process you're talking about, innovation, yeah? So because you said the constants are your team,
your
relationships and your culture, yeah? So we are now seeing even that the innovation is, how do people still feel that we are a team without physically being together? What is the new culture? And there are some skills that are now needed. There's some skills that need to change. So people were doing a certain job and they now need to change. So I have talked to some of our clients who they are doing this transition where they've got to sell products online and they're going. And as you said, nobody has the rule book. So firstly, do we first have to embrace a spirit of experimentation?
Correct.
Because we thought that you should know, so-and-so has written a book on it, copy. This is what I do. But I'm finding, and I don't know if you're finding that, first embrace a spirit of experimentation.
Yes. If I could touch on that, remember when I said the thing that's going to disrupt you, it's who you're not. So your culture is your biggest threat. Because your culture and your mindset is what will allow you to even have a different point of view on some. Let me give an example. Companies like Uber, Facebook, all these guys, do you know what they call failure? They call failure pivots.
Yeah.
So internally, their culture is when something doesn't work as we expected, it's an opportunity to pivot, to ladder up. But in many organizations, if something doesn't work as expected, it's a PIP. It is you're about to be fired or you're about to. So yes, this is actually the the time that, and what inspires me to, and if I can just speak vulnerably as Martin, what inspires me to adapt easily is a statement I learned some time back, is that you can't lose what you don't have. So if your business is already going down, if you don't have clients coming and giving you money, try something else on that gives you a chance to create that future, because you can't lose what is not there. There's only something to gain, there's nothing to lose, right? So that kind of gives me personally the comfort of, okay, let me try something new, because there's nothing to lose. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. And Martin, people keep saying, okay, content is king. Content is king. Now in this world, content is king. And I think I read somewhere, it's not oil that's the most valuable resource, it's data. Yeah. So for us who are in business, starting businesses, what should our thinking be around content? Because some people have content and they don't realize they have content.
Got you.
Yeah.
So I have the perfect answer for that, coincidentally, or rather, what I think is the right answer. So people buy why you do it, not what you do, right? Simon Sinek says, right? And it's actually embedded in biology. Our brain, it's based, our judgments and emotions and our behavior, we believe in people. That's why your constant is your relationship. The relationship, someone has bought into you, not necessarily what you are selling. And why that's important when you think of content is when you're expressing yourself to the world, you just have to document, not create. It's something I personally strongly believe, that you're already ready. When we say technology is already available, everyone on the call has a phone which has a camera.
Yes.
The only thing that differentiates you from everyone else is what you believe in and why you do what you do. The opportunity for you on content is to authentically share that with the world, because guess what? When you do that, you will appeal to people who believe the same things that you believe in, as opposed to sell to people who need what you're selling. And when you reach the people who believe what you believe in, it's a wider audience set, because then you can always change. Look at Apple. You wouldn't buy a Nokia fridge, would you?
No.
But you'd buy an Apple car, Apple TV, Apple music player, Apple phone, because
at least you'll be intrigued. Yeah.
And that's because Apple authentically shares its belief. Same with Nike. So the product then becomes irrelevant. So when it comes to content, I would ask everyone the only thing that's unique about you is what you document, not what you create. Now, when you hire someone to create visuals, to try create a certain perception, then people see through that. You're not unique. You've created something to manage what I perceive. But if you're authentic, if someone authentically shares, I'm transforming my business, and so to anyone who's looking at doing this, I'm open to listen. That is what drives action. I hope that's answered.
That's really, because a lot of people also think being successful in an online platform is about the number of followers you have. And so if I have 1 million followers, and you'll see brands going to pay these people who have 1 million followers. Yeah.
Yes.
So and sometimes even a lot of businesses think, so should I be paying those influencers for my business because they have many followers? But what you've said is contrary to that thinking. Absolutely.
Completely.
Who believes what I believe?
Yes.
That's who I'm talking to. So you're not out to have 1 million followers. Yeah. No. Great. You get 1 million people who believe what you believe, but that's you would rather, you're better off with the 100 people who believe what you believe than 1 million people just overcrowding, because there's a lot of noise online as well. And
know, if I learned that, so my wife does sleep training, Kit Kiarie. She actually she showed me this, I knew it in theory, but she's the one who showed it to me practically. And she has about 10,000 followers only.
Yeah.
But when she publishes something, the amount of engagement, so she publishes a video and she probably gets about 8,000 views. So you can tell that the people who are following her are people who believe what she believes in, and what she stands for, they stand for as well. And so then it's totally irrelevant what it is that she's selling, whether it's sleep training today, or it is a market day, which she also does this other day, or it's a video where she's sharing a story with her friends. People are following her because of what she believes in. Now, the trick is that many people are not self-aware to publicly document and share what they believe in, because they don't even know.
Okay.
So that is why, that's why majority of the people kind of don't succeed, because they're either scared that people won't accept me or whatever.
Yeah.
But as I've told you, you can't lose what you don't have. So just pick up the camera, put it in front of your face, start. Start afraid, start unsure.
Start with whatever you have. Start with your phone camera before you start telling, I have to buy all this other equipment. Just start.
Even after this call, start.
Even just after this call, just start. And we had, and I think it's the way, I think also what digital has done for even our businesses and many businesses I talk to is start to understand who do you need. Like I think SMEs, what we call SMEs, we are always the underdog. You go to these very big companies, they treat you like an underdog. They don't pay you on time because they're like, you should be so grateful to be working, that we are giving you work. And we realized like we were going, a lot of time we were going to try and get sponsorships to run certain events. So whilst the value add is really the content, which comes from us, it's us guys, me, my Waceke, our team, when we go and speak, that is what people appear for. Yeah.
Correct.
But before digital, so it has cut, and then Martin, I like what you used when we were talking earlier. It has the wheat, separating the wheat from the chaff. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So we realized when we went online, the first couple of days, we still had that mentality. And I remember there was a client who was trying to tell us, we'll only get paid this much, But now suddenly we realized, but now they're not doing a live event, it's Facebook. So suddenly, Martin, we were like, and we need you.
We are the value.
Because
exactly. They need you.
We were spending a lot of time going meetings, trying to chase money for sponsorship so that we can afford to put people in hotels and feed them. But the real value add is not the food. It's the content.
It's the content.
So now we don't have to spend time. So I want to challenge people. Where were you spending time before? Because what digital sometimes has done is then spend time on content, not chasing sponsorships. That is my core business, is not chasing sponsorships.
Yes.
It's actually teaching. Patrick has a question about what we were talking before. How do we relearn to communicate? Yeah. So if you can see it, it's over there on our chat. How do we relearn to communicate? Yeah, I think it's what I was talking about, that we had to relearn. How do people relearn to communicate? And I think the communication aspect is so important. Yeah, even the communication when advertising. Yeah.
That's an interesting question. I'm trying to get what Patrick's context would be. Because
I think he had mentioned before, if it's the same, I don't know. Okay, it's not him. There's someone who had said that I'm a music producer, but I'm not sure.
Okay. But in essence, there's a framework of FBI, feedback, behavior, and impact. I think I can share that. I can't remember exactly. I can share it after. But what I'm talking, maybe the point of view I'll take is in how do you communicate probably your value or your proposition or whatever to the world. And for me, as I've said earlier, it's about being self-aware and vulnerable enough to be authentic. Okay. If you're authentic, i.e., let's say you're a music producer, I'll just pick that up because you've mentioned it.
Yeah.
Or you're a DJ, for example, and you've realized your gigs have gone off. And then you're authentic and self-aware enough to go and share with the same relationships you have to say that this is the impact, and this is now what I'm doing. I'm now doing IG live events. Could you sponsor my IG live, DJ set? And actually the cost has gone down because we don't have to book a venue to this. I think it's about being aware of why you do what you do, not what you do. And the more you're able to share your why, you will get people who believe the same thing you believe in. Because what you do can always change. And actually, because of the times we're living in, it will always change. That's the one guaranteed variable, that your product will always change. But if you've never communicated to people your why and you're not authentic enough to do it, then literally anyone else who is selling what you're selling can take the cake. But there's only one you get what I mean? There's only one authentic DJ who believes in transparency, who's really kind, who goes about. That is what makes you unique. So then now you just use technology as a way to adapt what makes you unique. I really hope I've answered Patrick's question.
I think in a way, if I don't know, Martin, if you've seen what Stephanie has written, her story, I think also answers Patrick's question. Being in the gym business, she had to now go online, started offering complimentary Zoom sessions, but now she's able to work on their schedules, and she's been able to actually stay in business. Yeah. So I think that's already a testimony to the unlearning as fast as you can, and just focusing. The value add was her doing the sessions. So once you just understand that,
if I could speak to Stephanie, she has just realized she could have the biggest gym with no gym or gym equipment. Because the barrier, people have their own sitting rooms and they have their own equipment. So why do I need to go to the gym? So Stephanie has done a fantastic job, because now she's able to actually scale what was limited in terms of how many people could actually fit into a gym and how many clients she could see. So that is just so fantastic. And can I invest? Stephanie, see me on the side.
So what actually, Stephanie, thank you for sharing that, because we are saying Stephanie can be the new Uber, because it's people like Stephanie that can, in an instant, not an instant, but very quickly, all these guys who had all these chains of gyms, their threats are Stephanie. Their threats are no longer someone who's gotten an investor to pump in money for expansion for gyms. Their threats are Stephanie. Yeah. And because Stephanie has that emotional connection with people.
Correct.
How do we communicate our why better? Because we are so, even if you look at Martin, how people, and people looking for jobs, maybe this is the new CV. Why? Not, I am a bachelor degree. Everybody has that, But we get so vested in, this is what we are doing. What most of the Facebook digital ads you're seeing is our product. That is what you see. That is what you're seeing, our product, which is now you're saying your product is the variable, but we spend more time communicating what can change at any time. So what, in your experience with the companies you work for, and even yourself, how do we tune into communicating our why?
That's so fantastic, because the question is actually the answer. Do you know why? Because the best way to communicate, to find out your why, is by asking why. So I can give an example of just to let you know, the point of view you should take is that when you're communicating your content online, you're not talking to your customers. You're talking to audience. So you have to think like a media company as opposed to an X company, an education company, or an insurance company. Do you get what I mean? Because the people you are engaging with are not your customers. They're not people who are looking to buy what you're selling. So they're audience. So that's the one mindset you must remember. Now, in terms of finding out your why, there's a friend of mine I was helping recently, and he was really having trouble. 4 months he hasn't had a job. And so when I was talking to him, of course, his ask was, can I get a job with you? And we both know that there's 3 things that define a company, even a person's value: attitude, knowledge, and skill. Now, knowledge and skill have kind of become commoditized. Yes. If you're selling a course on even financial awareness, there are many other people doing it, right? Now, attitude is where the biggest difference is. So
also, people looking for jobs, just before you go, and if I'm an accountant, there are many accountants. So if you just position yourself as an accountant,
why the hell would I hire you?
Yeah, why would I hire you?
So what we went through is, I just literally asked him, what is it that you do in your free time that you're naturally drawn to when you're not being paid for it? When you remove money from the equation, what is it you're naturally drawn to? And what is it, if I put you in a room of people who do that same thing, you know you'd be the best? And the guy actually told me, actually, it's just Googling and finding information, research and whatever. I'm like, brilliant. So that's your why. Then I asked him, or that's what you like to do. Then I asked him, why do you do that? And then he recalled a conversation in high school where he was in a group of people, and what they were talking about, he felt was so ignorant that he just loves finding information, so that when people are talking, they're talking from an informed point of view. So so I realized, wait, your mission, your why is to kill ignorance, right? To provide information to destroy the ignorance that people have to some degree. Now, you see, I told him, now the jobs you've been applying for, you need to change, because now evidently you're in terms of online research, journalism, etc. That is where you actually fit in. But when you're applying for those jobs, this guy was applying for jobs as a teller, as a customer care agent, you know, his why was not connected to his what. But the moment he was now able to authentically create that, even now in his pitch, he's going to interviews telling people that, so I live, my why is to destroy ignorance. My what is to use tools such as ABCDFG to present this information. And then my where has been etc. in my CV. So, you know, then it pushes the attitudinal aspect of him to the forefront, as opposed to what people do in CVs is, here's my work history, and you know, which is your knowledge and skills, which is you're one of many. So it doesn't make you any meaningfully different. So I just hope. So ask the why 3 times. Go deeper.
Go why. In fact, in our Centonomy entrepreneur class, we actually ask people why. Why do you want to start a business? Why? And I guess that's what we're saying. So we are all going back to, you know, so our principles of life are not changing just because of digital. We talked about problem solving, and we're also talking about purpose. So all those things that people have always been said, business is not just business. It's there to meet a need. It's there to fulfill a purpose. Yeah. Correct. This why is that. Big, where people spend a lot of money trying to come up with these mission statements that nobody remembers because it's not authentic. This is what you're actually breaking down for people. I think you've answered what Elfas is asking. By documenting, it means tell the story of what you do, as opposed to just showing pictures, posters, Instagram,
creating, hiring a designer.
Creating a perception. And I think I like this phase where we're doing conversations like this. You're outside in your house. In a room in my house, and it's authentic. There's no studio lights. There's, you know, we're just doing it. And Patrick is actually, he's experiencing what you are talking about. Even when you're saying package yourself differently, he's starting a new job, and he has never met his colleagues. This is the world we're living in.
What?
And he has to build relationships in this world. So this is how the new jobs look like. And can you just I don't know, Patrick, what your context is, but he's starting a new job. You know, we're talking about joblessness, but he's starting a new job. But even if people who are looking for jobs, this is what you have to be prepared for. You're building relationships on Zoom.
Exactly. And I've hired someone during this time, and you know, we had never met him. I talked to him on the phone, but he was so able to articulate his why. And the one thing that I'd encourage everyone actually is on your virtual calls with your team and or with your clients, always have video on. You know, there's a powerful, when you know, you if it's just an icon, there's an empathy piece that's missing. But when your video is on, you can tell whether someone is either having a good day or a bad day. So it's just a small trick, and we've actually adopted it internally, but it's something that could really help you keep those or keep that relationship part alive. So Patrick, as you start your new job, make sure every call you're in, your video is on, so that people can relate with who is this person behind the name.
Okay, excellent. Martin, you and we could go on for another hour.
Yeah.
And I think it's been excellent. The comments, some of them I hope you've read them. They're like, in fact, I've been told this is the best session so far of making sense. And there've been loads of comments about how people have really enjoyed the session. So just as you wind up, I know somebody had said, could you repeat some of the slides, but we don't have time for that. Yes. But I think they were asking about, please repeat the slide on key mindset shifts. So as we wind up, Martin, what are the take homes? You want people, as they said, because they logged in today, these are the take homes you want people to remember out of everything that you have said today, which has been fantastic. Yeah.
So I have quickly, as you were talking, gone and can you see my screen?
Okay, yeah, the key mindsets. Yes.
Yeah. So the key mindsets you should have is, one, be biased towards action. Intuit, the company we all know that did QuickBooks, they when they were launching a product in India that actually drove a lot of revenue, it was around farmers and increasing farmer revenue. They did 12 iterations. Only one was successful. 11 failed. So be biased towards action. Just do, because giving yourself the opportunity to fail is giving yourself the opportunity to eventually win. Fail forward to learn. That's part of the culture we mentioned, where failure is a pivot as opposed to a ridicule. Then have empathy, which is not sympathy. Empathy is just being able to understand someone else's, or when we talked about the timeless activity, it's just being able to put yourself in their shoes, not woye, just okay, I get it, right? Then being high on problems, not solutions. Where every problem, because you mentioned the Bible, there's something that I just love, that God said that he who started a good thing is going to be faithful to complete it. So you must take the mindset that everything that is happening is for us, not against us. So if it's happening for you, it means that COVID is an opportunity for you. So if you put that mindset, then you only have one way to act, which is to find the opportunity, right? Then lastly, it's about radical collaboration. And what I mean there is, you're because you're loyal to the solution, or rather to the problem, not the solution, you could even merge with your competitors. You might even work with your competitors, because you realize, actually, this competitor of mine has something I don't have that will leverage us to offer a better result to the solution, right? I mean, to the problem that has been presented. So, just radically collaborate, because no one cares who you're doing it with. People only care about the value that you're bringing. Right?
Excellent.
So those are the mindsets that I would propose that you adapt.
Okay. All right.
Now technology.
Okay. All right. You can put your screen down. I just share something. So Martin, thank you so much. I think what I am taking from here is, with online, myself and I know many people we were stuck with, if I put it online, someone else will steal my idea. And I don't know if you've ever experienced people saying, but if I put it online, someone else will steal my idea. But what I think you've told us today is that it's you're authentic. They can try, someone can go and try and say, hey, Martin put up his presentation, even me, and I'm going to try. They cannot deliver it the way that you actually did.
They can't copy you.
They can't copy you. Yes, they can go online and see what you did and your content, the slides, but they can't actually copy you. So we must start sharing our authentic stories.
Exactly. And one thing I wanted to, if I could just add a statement to that, is an idea shared is still an idea owned. Unlike my car, if I give you my car, it's gone. But if I share my idea with you, I still have it. So I've lost nothing.
Okay. And these conversations, as I was saying, I think you see them evolve. These conversations we're having, Making Sense, was supposed to be for 1 month, so that we can tell people conversations about the book, so that we can tell people about the book. We were first thinking promote the book, but would have entered that part of your thinking about a product, Then when we started, it became conversations. We started solving a different problem and creating the value that we have actually seen today. But we continue, saying, if you do want to buy the book, this is where you can actually get it. You can call that number. It is online Amazon, Raffle Books, Nuria, and in Kenya at the moment, it's in the bookshops that are on screen. But as borders open up, we will also be getting them across to other countries. Martin, thank you so much. Yeah.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
Yeah, this has been fantastic. Where can people get hold of you? I think there are a couple of people who are asking. Can we
so you can visit our website, bean.co.ke. That, you fill in the form there or reach us on phone. But my personal email address is martin@bean.co.ke, bean.co.ke. Then, just send me an email and we could chat.
Okay, so we'll put up your Martin's contacts on his email and his website on the screen so they can chat. Some people want to reach out to you for training, mentorship, right. And there's a demand for another one just like this one. Yeah, so Martin, we will have to have you back. Yeah,
I'm happy to do it.
All right, so thank you, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Next week, we are moving to tax. Yes. We are going to have tax 101 because I think tax has been another area that has just been so mysterious for so long. And people don't know what the digital tax, what is happening, even before digital tax, just the other tax in general. So we'll be telling you where to actually, that you can tune in next week for that, and we'll start sending the information out. So everybody from wherever you are, thank you so much for tuning in to Making Sense, and we look forward to seeing you next week.